When a hair transplant surgeon looks at a hairline, it is difficult to hide the details from his eagle's eyes. And then there is another advantage. Over the years, one develops friendships within the field. Surgeons talk, patients talk, colleagues compare notes. Occasionally, information emerges that never finds its way into newspapers, biographies, or official accounts. So today, at the request of a subscriber, I want to talk about the three most recognizable men in the world. One of the most powerful men in the world. Narendra Modi ji, Vladimir Putin, and of course, Donald Trump. Not because of their politics, but because together they tell a fascinating tale about hair loss. Three men, three different journeys, three completely different lessons for us. Now let us begin with our most dear Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Many years ago in 2006, he underwent an FUT hair transplant in Ahmedabad. At that time, FUT was the dominant technique. Modern FUE mega sessions had not yet become commonplace, and surgeons had to work within the constraints of available scalp donor supply. And if you study his photographs over the years, you will notice something very interesting. His frontal appearance remains remarkably well framed over the years. It gives the face structure, it softens the effects of aging. Nearly 20 years after his hair transplant, the hairline continues to serve its purpose. What has changed is the crown area. The crown remains relatively thin or almost bald. Many patients see this and ask, why wasn't the crown completely filled? Good question. The answer is simple. A Norwood 6 scalp is a very large canvas for FUT procedures to cover. The donor is not a bank account with unlimited funds. Every graft spent in one area is a graft unavailable elsewhere. Modi ji's result illustrates a principle I teach repeatedly. A successful hair transplant is not necessarily the one that creates maximum density today. A successful hair transplant, on the other hand, is the one that looks reasonable 20 years later. And that is exactly what we are seeing here. Now let's move to Vladimir Putin. Putin's is perhaps the easiest scalp to interpret. There is little convincing evidence of surgical intervention. His pattern appears remarkably natural. In earlier years, as you can see in pictures, he often styled his hair from left to right, a cowlick, creating some degree of coverage. But as hair loss progressed over the years, that became increasingly difficult for Mr. Putin. So today he wears his hair exactly as it is. No hiding, no camouflage. The frontal area has thinned out gradually. The crown is visibly bald. The progression appears entirely consistent with the natural history of androgenic alopecia. Putin's scalp reminds us what untreated androgenic alopecia looks like. Yet, interestingly, it does not make him appear old. Many people would argue that he appears younger than the other two leaders being discussed here, despite having the least hair. Why do you think that is? Because the perception of age depends on much more than only hair. It depends upon body composition, posture, skin quality, facial structure, energy and expression. Hair does matter, but it is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. And now let us talk about the most fascinating hair loss sufferer in the world today, Donald Trump. Trump's hair has been discussed, mocked, analyzed and photographed from virtually every angle imaginable. From a surgical standpoint, it remains extraordinarily interesting. Unlike many advanced Norwood patients, he does not display the large bald crown one would normally expect. The explanation is multifactorial. Reports over the years have described that he underwent flap surgery and scalp reduction procedures somewhere in the 1990s. Many younger patients today may not even know what these operations refer to. Before modern FUE, surgeons often relied on procedures that physically moved through flap procedures, hair-bearing scalp from the side into the bald hairline, like this. They could create dramatic coverage, but they often left characteristic clues which looked artificial. Hair direction could become unusual. If you move a flap where the hair direction is this way, and when you move it this way, the hair direction will go in a different manner, unlike in hair transplantation. So angles could appear unnatural. The geometry of the hairline could reveal a procedure decades later. When I look at Trump's frontal hairline, the angle and orientation of some hair are difficult to ignore. To an experienced eye of a hair transplant surgeon, they are highly suggestive of the olden flap procedures for surgical hair restoration. And then there is the hairstyle itself. His famous side sweep is not accidental. It is a carefully evolved camouflage strategy. Viewed from the front, it looks surprisingly well. Viewed from above, its limitations become most apparent. And then there is another important factor, Finasteride. His physician has publicly acknowledged that he is on long-term Finasteride. And this matters because Finasteride usually does not create miracles. What it does is something much more valuable. It slows the rate at which native hair disappears, particularly in the crown area. So what do these three men teach us? Modi ji teaches us the limitations of donor supply. Putin teaches us the natural progression of hair loss in androgenic alopecia. Trump teaches us the legacy of older surgical procedures, the power of camouflage, and the potential value of long-term medical stabilization. Ironically, the man with the best hairline is not the man with the best long-term result. The real test of any hair restoration strategy is not how it looks 1 year later. It is how it looks 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later. And see several of my results. Click above. Most importantly, these three men remind us that hair restoration is not one single event. It is a lifelong journey. Patients become obsessed with hairlines. Surgeons worry about crowns. Patients think in months. Surgeons think in decades. And that is why whenever I evaluate a result, I spend less time looking in the front and more time looking at the top and the donor area. Because hairlines can be designed, photographs can be staged, lighting can be manipulated, hairstyles can deceive. But usually the crown tells the truth. And in hair restoration, the crown rarely lies. Have a nice day.